In this video, I'll show you a series of construction work. When you come across construct, you'll need compass, ruler. In this example, I'm going to construct a perpendicular bisector to line AB, which means perpendicular means right angle. So imagine you've got a line, and this line, these two lines are perpendicular because they're at right angles, right angles. But if you've got a line, say you want to construct, if you want to make a perpendicular bisector to a line, bisector means cut in half. So you'd have a line cutting another line in half, and these two lines would be at right angle to one another. But this is not good enough. Just by drawing is not good enough. I'll need to construct. Involves compass. Step one is to put the needle on one end, any one end of this line over here. So put the needle not on the letter B, but on the very end of the line. You need to make sure it's more than halfway. The pencil is more than halfway. Right. Before I do that, just need to make sure that the pencil and the needle are level. I've seen pupils putting the pencil that far down and the needle over here. I mean, exaggerated version. I mean, it's impossible, close to impossible to actually draw circles with this. I mean, you can try, but it's very difficult. So you just make sure it's level. Also, make sure that this is not too loose. If it's loose, then ask a member of staff to change your compass. You can tighten it here if you've got a screwdriver, but it's better to ask for another compass in the exam. So mine is okay, it's not too bad. Put the needle on one end of the line. Make sure it's more than halfway. It could be here, anywhere along here, but it's got to be more than halfway. And then draw an arc. Take the needle to the other end, put it on the other end, and then do the same thing. When I drew the first one like this, and if the needle and the pencil gap changes for whatever reason, then you have to start all over again. So what I'm trying to say is, when I drew this arc, I took the compass off. Now if it moves, you'll have to rub it out and start all over again. All you need to do now is join these points, and that's it. That's a construction of a perpendicular bisector to line AB. It's perpendicular because it's right angle, and it's bisecting means cutting line AB in half. Right, I have a very similar question here. Construct a perpendicular line to AB which goes through point C. So basically it will be a line that goes through point C, and it will be at right angle. So what I need to do first is put the needle on that dot there. That dot there is there for a reason. You put the needle on it, and then all you need to do, put a mark like so. Right, I'm not going to do that now because it's crossed over, it's gone beyond the line. So what you can do, make it a little bit smaller. There. Right, I just drew this one and then this one. That's what I just drew. This question now becomes very similar to the one I just did just a while ago. Just to illustrate this, I'm just going to show you. Right, I'm going to ignore everything. I'm going to ignore this, all of this, just ignore it. up to this point here and ignore anything beyond. So really, I've just got a line. Let me just highlight that line. There, that's what I've got. This question now becomes very similar to the one we did just a while ago. Remember what we did with the first one? We put the needle on one end and make sure it's more than halfway. Take it to the other side, keep it the same size. Take it to the other side and draw the arc. We'll do the same thing now. Put the needle on one end, that dot there. Make sure it's more than halfway. That's good enough. And then draw the arc. Take it to the other side. Remember, if it changes, if the size changes, rub that out, start all over again. Notice I'm not putting the needle here, I'm putting the needle here right now, ignoring everything on that side. All I need to do now is join this one with this cross here. If the arcs don't meet, just make it a little bit bigger. So all I've got to do is join the crosses. There. So I have constructed a perpendicular line there, right angles, that goes through point C. Very similar question. Well, it's the same question, but this time the point C is on the line. And I'm going to have a perpendicular line that goes through point C. So for that, put the needle on the point, just like I did over here. I'll put it on that dot there, that big dot there. I'm going to put this needle on the big dot over here. And then draw a line. Sorry, to construct my marks. Make sure it doesn't go too far. I mean, that's not good enough. That's good enough now. Put a mark. Take it to the other side. Keep it the same size. Keep the gap the same size. Put my mark there. There you go. I've got the two marks. Ignore everything on this side and this side. So really, I'll be working from here up to here. So now this question becomes very similar to the one I've done earlier on. Put the needle on this big dot over here. Make sure it's more than halfway, which it is. More than halfway along the line, and then draw an arc. Go to the other side. Don't put the needle on here, put the needle just right there. All I need to do now is join this cross with this cross. And you can guarantee that the line that I'm making will go through point C. So there you have it. I've constructed a perpendicular line. It's perpendicular because it's right angle and it's going through point C. Here's another type of question. Different from what we've just been doing just a while ago. We are going to construct an angle bisector, meaning if that's my angle, I will construct a line that splits it in half. But obviously I'm not going to do that because I'll need to construct it using compass. So first thing I'm going to do is put the needle on the point, the angle in which I'm going to cut in half, that point there. Right, it does not matter how far this is, it does not matter how far I go. Now, all you're going to do is draw this. And then do another one, but slightly bigger. Okay, it looks like, I'm going to stop here now because it looks like my compass actually moved. So don't be worried to think, oh my god, what have I just done? Leave it. Stop. Do another one. So I'm going to demonstrate this one for you. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Remember, you can learn through mistakes. I just made a mistake and that's why I've stopped, even while making a video. Right, mine's slightly loose. Don't seem to have a screwdriver here. I'll have to go back to the shed. No, that's too far now. Right, put the needle and then do that. Make it slightly wider and do another one. There, that looks nice. All I'm going to do now is join this point with that point. And same, this one with this one. See that cross over here? See that cross? All I need to do now, there you go. I've just now constructed an angle bisector. That there has cut this angle in half.